Halo, Fireteam Raven. We're checking out the arcade version of Halo. This is a 4-player cooperative game. You can play it by yourself. You play it in teams. You are able to connect your Waypoint account to this in order to gather Halo rewards. Make sure you do that when you're setting up the game, as I didn't know, and I was only able to do that like halfway through. There's like a whole QR scanning code. It's very interestingly set up. So that was the outside of the machine. Here's the actual gameplay. Keep in mind I was filming with one hand and shooting with the other. So basically what we're getting here is an enormous 130-inch 4K screen and 4 mounted turrets. So it allows players to jump in, jump out, play any of the missions, play it all the way through as like a campaign, and experience Halo as if it was in the arcade. So at the beginning here, I'm going to be going between the screen and kind of showing off the surrounding area of being in here and actually taking a look at this thing, because I thought that made the most sense. Because I want to give a sense of what this looks like. When you walk into the arcade, it's like huge display for this one. You really see it. It's colorful, it's light, it's vibrant, and it's like, wow, that's the Halo game. It's like really visible. As soon as I walked into, we have these things called rec rooms, which are done through our theaters, have these special arcade kind of nice hangout places for younger people. That's sort of what they, it's the design and the purpose of them. They're newer, there's only so many of them in the country. This is where I was able to play this. I'm not sure, whether arcades support this, but I was very happy to finally have one available. I was playing it, I was going through, because this is one of the later levels, and I was like, I might as well capture this and show it off, because I did spend a fair bit of points on this. I think it kind of came out to about $20 worth of tokens or whatever to actually finish the whole game. You're sort of like just passively losing health in this one. I don't say that as like a constant loss of health, but you are, you're taking damage over time. I've definitely noticed that no matter what you're able to do with your aiming and your ability to shoot things, because I'm not bad at this, I'm pretty good. Even with one hand, as you can see here, I'm kind of tearing it up. And there's also another interesting point to note, is that it's like it does look like a 4-player experience, but you're very much split in purpose with your half. Notice the red kind of indicator when the screen and when I'm getting shot or injured. Only my side is popping up as sort of the shield's taking damage. So you really only have to focus on your one side. So you're facing one, maybe 2 enemies tops at a time. And yeah, it should be maybe explained a bit more, because you can help and shoot the other side. Like I can go over and shoot the other people. If somebody drops out, they kind of die and they don't continue, you actually need to kind of go over there to the other side and finish off their enemies, or else, it kind of takes a little bit for their enemies to die. The AI, or regular, I guess, people that are shooting with you, because this is a 4-player ODST experience, so there's like a group of ODST that are dropped down to assist the Master Chief during the original Halo game. So the Master Chief actually does come in, he jumps in through some really badass moments and helps out, tears it up, the pillar bottom. You'll also notice occasionally I drop down. That's me having to scan my wrist in order to put in 10 more tokens in order to continue playing. So yeah, the Master Chief comes in, he's all badass, he's wrecking things, he's doing all cool stuff, tearing those coveys apart. It's fantastic, those moments are so cool. And this is very much a linear, narrative-driven sort of shooter. You're moving around, you're basically on rails, you're just firing away. You get a plethora of classic Halo weapons. There's tons of enemies from the series. And like canon-wise, it's a bit weird, because like some of the weapons and stuff and the enemies aren't quite Halo 1-esque. So they kind of fiddled around with that a bit more. Like, I mean, these enemies probably existed in the universe, but they weren't in the first game. Like this thing is not. I've never seen this in a Halo game. I don't know, maybe they've been in the background or something. I don't know. I've never seen this before. You'll also notice on the left-hand side that other people have jumped into play. You can kind of see them reloading stuff, and I'll shift over a little bit more on their screen over time. So yeah, you have 30 seconds to keep playing. You can scan in your code and get reward points. And it does sort of just really eat a lot of tokens over time, especially by yourself, because like I mentioned, your AI folks aren't really helping a whole lot. So this is quite a coin eater to play. I imagine it would be easier if you had a group of people to play with, because a lot of this is playing by myself. Sometimes one person will jump in, sometimes I have 2, sometimes we have a full party. And this was like about a hour-long experience to work through this game. So, you know, it was worth it for me because I'm a big Halo fan. I've played all of the Halo titles across all the devices, whether that's AR or HoloLens, or yeah, I've played Halo on like everything game-wise that it's available for. And this was really cool because you actually get to have that old-style arcade feeling, and it's that Halo game you remember on the iconic areas that you recall. Obviously, the visuals have been improved, and this does look really good. I mean, I'm impressed by the screens you get in there. It's very clear, it's colorful. It feels like a classic Halo ring that you'd be on. The Forerunner structures are well done. You get to visit many iconic locations, such as the Pillar of Autumn, or like the surrounding area towards the ending. I won't spoil anything. You're generally just assisting the Chief during his mission on the first Halo ring. There's the Flood, you've got the Covenant, you fight elites, you fight the drones, you fight jackals, you fight grunts. The grunts are running away. I didn't notice any like grunt birthday party, so I was a little bit disappointed in that regard. But yeah, it was a fine story, as to say. It wasn't really much of a narrative thing. But you did get a sense of what was going on here. There's cutscenes. You can choose any mission to jump in at, or you can just play from the start and kind of experience it that way. The enemies have different styles to them. So these people aren't continuing here, so they're kind of just waiting out. I'm going to have to go over there and sort of shoot these elites in order to, you know, progress here, because it's kind of a halting standstill. And I think that does slow down the gameplay a bit, at least in my opinion. Like, you can go and shoot other people's enemies. I advise you just focusing on your own screen so you save costs and everything like that. But yeah, I don't know. It really is like a solo thing with a cooperative element to it, because you can help, but you rarely have time to. You'll be in turrets, you'll be on vehicles, all kinds of different things. The rockets seem to have unlimited ammo for some reason, which I thought was kind of funny. And sometimes with the cannon-wise, you're just like, yeah, okay. I don't know, it's kind of neat. I mean, it's Halo, but in the arcade, so that's what I equate it to, and it feels very right. I had a good time. It was very loud. My ears were sort of ringing for a while afterwards, if that makes sense. And yeah, it was definitely pretty crazy in that regard, because I was just like, wow, I didn't realize how loud that was. So you really get into it, and you just keep playing along. I thought they did generally a pretty good job of this. I mean, we didn't expect it to come. I never thought I'd actually be able to play it, considering we don't tend to get things like this where I am located. So as soon as I had the opportunity and, you know, a chance to do this, I took a day and just went and experienced it, because I thought it'd be a lot of fun, and I had a good time. Even though it cost quite a fair bit, I think it was worth it, at least personally to me. I think it's fun for a group of friends to go in and play a cooperative Halo experience. The gun's got a good feel into it. You really like, you know, pa. You've got great selection of weapons. I thought it was really weird reloading the plasma type items, but I guess it is a reload focused thing, so it makes sense to implement that. You also notice how I have a 1, that is a sticky grenade. It causes kind of a big explosion. I'll clear the enemies out a bit. I mean, it is very authentic. You do get that sense of competitive play between the varying factions. Just like right here, you can see the Covenant kind of dealing with these flood monsters. You get these vast Halo vistas in the background. And it should be reflective of life in terms of this being captured at 4K 60. So yeah, you know, quality-wise, it should be fairly exact, I think. It's a very nice game. I had a lot of fun playing it. I think if you have the opportunity to check it out and you're a Halo fan, you'll really like it. And I think it's a game that is very different in the arcade, because a lot of arcade games don't really do this anymore. They're kind of like really crappy little mobile-based things, so that's no fun for anyone. I mean, even Galaga's like a chopped-down one-level thing, and that's just disappointing. So I would actually like to see more Halo experiences like this, particularly, you know, kind of maybe even some digital releases, which are just smaller, more intimate stories would be fun. Ways to explore new levels and things in the lore. Here we're getting another cutscene, so you kind of get an idea of how that plays. Again, it can eat quite a bit of coins depending on how much they cost in your region. I thought it was fairly reasonable for what it is, a good use of time. I like how the stats are tracked. I like that they actually tried to put together a story. The Master Chief is cool to see. The arcade machine itself is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's well crafted. It feels good to sit in. It's comfortable. The audio is fantastic. The gun feels good. And generally, it was a pretty good experience. It was way more premium than anything at the place, to be honest.